Resident Evil 3 has big boots to fill. Let's not beat around the bush here and pretend that Capcom didn't absolutely pull it out of the bag with the Resident Evil 2 remake from 2019. It wasn't just one of the best games of the year, but one of the greatest Resident Evil games in a generation. No pressure then. But Resident Evil 3 was a different game to its predecessor back in the late 90s, and so too is today. Taking the shambling bones of what made Resi 2 so great and doing something different enough to make it fresh, but not so different to distance itself from its source, was always going to be a delicate operation. The answer? More action, more intensity, a broader look at the story unfolding in the doomed Raccoon City, and of course, Nemesis. While the broader story beats of Jill's escape are still basically the same as the 1999 original, the story here manages to pack in plenty of surprises. Gone are the branching choices, making way for something much more linear, again leaning on the successes of RE2 to make the experience more modern and believable. New threats like the redesigned Hunter Gammas and Drain Demons will give you pause for thought on how to progress as well. Fans will obviously remember the reworked iconic liquor moment from the Raccoon Police Department in Resi 2, and how the developers played on the expectations of fans to give them something entirely new. Speaking of the story, Resident Evil 3 will take about 6.5 hours to get through on a standard difficulty, and that's with some exploring and going around in circles doing puzzles. A brand new shop will unlock when you complete the game once, stocking items like more powerful weapons, buffs, and costumes to purchase using XP, which you can only get by playing and completing the game, and carry them into your next playthrough. Playing on a PS4 Pro, Raccoon City itself is nothing short of breathtaking, in all its anarchistic glory, much more so than ever before. It's refreshing to get out and see so much more of the city at street level. There's a sense of depth that you never really got in the claustrophobic confines of the Haunted House-esque RPD, and it gives validity to the belief of a lived-in city pre-infection. The sound design is second to none. Walking into a pitch-black room and hearing a barely audible shuffle and moan welcome you from the darkness will make the neck hairs of even the most steely STARS member stand on end in an instant. If we are going to be picking nits here, I'd like to have spent more time on the streets, drinking in the atmosphere of the outbreak. I felt like before too long, I was moving from location to location or being chased by Nemesis too much to get a proper idea of what it would be like to participate in a zombie apocalypse. A minor gripe, but a valid one. While we're talking about annoyances and Nemesis, let's talk about Nemesis being annoying. To give the hulking behemoth his dues, he shows up when you least want him to, though not randomly, as some rumours had us believing, making the encounters truly apprehensive affairs that will leave you scrambling to escape his clutches, dangling by your last threads of health. But that's where the problem lies. In order to make Nemesis a more prevalent threat than RE2's roaming Mr. X, his moveset when you encounter him in the early game basically allows him to cheese you until you die, through no obvious fault of your own. More times than I would have liked, he would stunlock me as I tried to escape, and kill me with unblockable attacks. He's much more palatable in the designated boss fight areas, where you can match him carefully and methodically, without thinking you died because of his god mode enabled moveset. While Jill does have a new dodge skill that can keep her out of range of overly bitey zombies, it doesn't always work against Nemesis, and when it does work against zombies, it feels almost a little too easy. But these niggles are by the by, as Nemesis thankfully isn't always on your case. The rest of Jill's campaign is fraught with nightmare-inducing creatures and set pieces that will delight fans. You always have just enough ammo and health items on the standard difficulty setting to scrape by, but you will find yourself rationing items for desperate situations that could be just around the corner. Resident Evil 3 goes to great lengths to liken itself to its superb predecessor, while still maintaining its own sense of identity. It knows what it is, and it is unashamed in its delivery of a more Hollywood-style telling of the Raccoon City incident. While Nemesis undoubtedly has its flaws, and a much more open approach to traversal would have been nicer with the grander scale, but there's still a lot to love about the game, even if it isn't breaking new boundaries like Resi 2 did last year. It won't change the way you think about Resident Evil, but Resident Evil 3 is a faithful and thoroughly entertaining retelling of one of the most fondly remembered zombie games ever made. Throw in the replayability and the challenges different difficulties bring, and you've got a title fans will be pining over for some time to come.